Avalanche. It's one of nature's disasters that can bring sudden injury, death, and destruction. And unfortunately, that cry is being heard more often as increasing numbers of people have the time and resources to recreate on the winter landscape. Snowmobiling, downhill skiing, and cross-country skiing are growing in popularity and put people into direct contact with avalanche areas. In the United States alone, an average of 100 avalanches a year bury from 60 to 70 people and kill nearly 20 of them. It's critical that people who either work or play in snow country know the basics of avalanche safety. Because getting caught in an avalanche can be a terrifying experience, even for a seasoned ski patroller like Sean Monahan. He was caught while doing early morning avalanche control.
The first feeling is the feeling of being a stupid move in a bad place and that, boy, I shouldn't have done that. And then right after that, it's a feeling of fear because I knew where that gully emptied out, which was over a cliff. And then right after that, I think everything else is pretty much reflex. Everything happened so fast. That's the other thing that really surprised me, was that the snow moves so incredibly fast that you really don't have time to do much at all. And I thought that maybe I could get out of it before it went over the cliff, but there was no time at all. It just accelerated at such a rate that there was no way to do anything but just get out of all the gear I could and cover up. And that's basically what I did.
If someone is buried in an avalanche, prompt rescue operations are the only hope of getting the victim out alive. There are records of persons living several days while buried, but such instances are exceptional. Ordinarily, the victim either is killed by injury or dies within a short time from shock and suffocation. In recent years, the rapidly expanding record of accidents exposes the mournful fact that the 50% survival time is 30 minutes. The chance of survival drops to less than 20% after 2 hours. Less than a third of completely buried victims are recovered alive. Large and small avalanches can have tremendous force and are a serious threat. The more time that you spend working or playing in snow country, the greater are your chances of being caught by snow avalanches. Understanding the basic types of avalanches and the contributing terrain and weather factors, as well as carefully selecting a safe route, can help you avoid becoming another victim. Snow avalanches are complex natural phenomena. Experts do not fully understand all the causes. It is difficult to predict avalanche conditions with certainty. But there are some general guidelines that will help a thinking observer develop judgment about the presence and degree of avalanche danger. There are two principal types of snow avalanches: loose snow and slab. Loose snow avalanches start at a point or over a small area. They grow in size, and the quantity of snow involved increases as they descend. Loose snow moves as a formless mass with little internal cohesion. Slab avalanches, on the other hand, start when a large area of snow begins to slide at once. There is a well-defined fracture line where the moving snow breaks away from the stable snow. Slab avalanches are characterized by the tendency of snow crystals to stick together. There may be angular blocks or chunks of snow in the slide. Practically all accidents are caused by slab avalanches. Many times the victims have triggered the avalanche themselves. Their weight on the stressed snow slab is enough to break the fragile bonds that hold it to the slope. There are some key terrain factors affecting snow avalanches: slope steepness, slope profile, slope aspect, and ground cover. Many people are under the false impression that avalanches only happen on steep slopes. In fact, they can occur on slopes as gradual as 25 degrees. Snow accumulates more on north-facing slopes and is more likely to slide in midwinter. South-facing slopes are more dangerous in the spring due to sunny days changing the snow structure. Wind can also affect avalanche conditions. Snow blowing across a slope or over the top of a mountain deposits snow on what is known as the leeward slope. Leeward slopes can become dangerous because wind-deposited snow adds depth and creates hard, hollow-sounding wind slabs. The other side of the mountain is known as the windward slope and generally has less snow, which is compacted and usually strong enough to resist movement. It therefore provides a safer travel route. Some people have the misconception that slopes which have trees are safe from avalanches. Many skiers and snowmobilers have been caught on tree-covered slopes. Keeping an eye on the weather can help you avoid trouble. Many weather factors affect the chances of a snow avalanche occurring: temperature, wind, storms, rate of snowfall, and types of snow. Snow can be unstable during cold temperatures. It will settle and stabilize when temperatures are near or just above freezing. Rapid changes in weather conditions can cause changes in the snowpack. For example, snow falling at the rate of 1 inch per hour or more rapidly increases avalanche danger. Sustained winds of 15 miles per hour and over rapidly increase the danger of an avalanche occurring. Snow plumes from ridges and peaks indicate that snow is being moved onto leeward slopes. This can create dangerous conditions. About 80% of all avalanches occur during and shortly after storms. Be extra cautious during these periods. Loose, dry snow slides easily. Moist, dense snow tends to settle rapidly, but during windy periods can be dangerous. Understanding the intricacies of what causes avalanches can quickly become complicated, but there are certain basic things to look for. One is snowfall. How much is falling and how fast is it accumulating? If it's over 1 inch per hour, be cautious. Wind-blown snow is another key indicator, especially when it's loading the leeward slopes. Look for existing avalanches. These can be easily identified by fracture lines, chutes, trees with uphill branches knocked off, and trees leaning downhill. Be suspect of steep slopes, but also be conscious of more gradual slopes if danger signs are present. And finally, listen for a whumping or settling sound that often precedes slides. Knowing these basic warning signs will help make working and playing in snow country a lot safer. Ron Johnson is a professional mountaineer who guides climbing expeditions around the world. He also has a master's degree in glaciology. Ron describes how the physical characteristics of snow can tell you a lot about snow stability.
The reason avalanches occur is because a snowpack is composed of layers, strong layers and weak layers. And it's the relationship between these different layers in the snowpack that will determine whether the snow will fail. A simple test that we can use to identify these weak layers and to determine how weak these layers are is a shovel shear test. What I'm going to do is just isolate a column of snow by cutting it out of this pit wall. While I'm cutting out the pit wall, I get an idea of where the weak or the soft layers are and where the harder layers are. This is a real simple test. All you need is a shovel, really, and to substitute the saw you can use a shovel handle or you can use your ski or ski pole. Okay, so I've isolated my column of snow. Now I have to be real careful. I put the shovel in the back and I apply an outward force to it, to the snowpack. And here I have a layer right here that failed for some reason. I don't know what, but I can sit down and try to figure that out later. Come down some more. And a very nice shear right here. I can pull it out and try to determine what happened. Why is this layer considered weak or strong in the snowpack. So I might scoop around. If I come over here, I see that there's a pine needle at this layer. So it's an old exposed layer to the sun or the wind, and perhaps that's what's creating the weak layer. Now I continue down through the snowpack, another shear. Further down, that's not much to worry about.
The safest routes are on ridge tops and slightly on the windward side, away from cornices. Windward slopes are usually safer than leeward slopes. If you cannot travel on ridges, the next safest route is out in the valley, far from the bottom of slopes. Avoid disturbing cornices from below or above. Gain ridge tops by detouring around cornice areas. Take advantage of areas of dense timber, ridges, or rocky outcrops as lunch and rest stops. Spend as little time as possible on open slopes. Snowmobiles should not cross the lower part of slopes. Do not drive a snowmobile across especially long open slopes or known avalanche paths. If you are traveling in avalanche country, it's important to know what to do. There are some specific pieces of equipment and safety practices that can help save lives. Skiers should carry a shovel and use ski poles that can quickly be converted into probe poles. However, transceivers are the most reliable devices for finding and rescuing avalanche victims. Snowmobilers should also carry these same items in addition to snowshoes for traveling in case their machine is disabled. Safety is a primary concern at downhill ski areas, and there are some basic things all skiers should be aware of.
Well, the main thing is that they need to be aware of the signing and the rope and boundary areas. They need to just pay attention to what they're doing. And I think the other thing that's important is in some of the avalanche areas that are in some of the more remote areas of the ski area boundary, that you should go with a partner. Because if you're in doubt and want some more information, feel free to ask, because that's what we're here for. And we're more than happy to have somebody come in and ask what's going on, ask what we do, and we were glad to explain our whole program and what they should be thinking of when they're out skiing.
If you are caught in an avalanche, discard all equipment except the transceiver. Get away from your snowmobile. Make swimming motions. Try to stay on top. Work your way to the side of the avalanche. Before coming to a stop, get your hands in front of your face and try to make an airspace in the snow as you are coming to a stop. Try to remain calm. Survivors also have an especially crucial role, as Ron Johnson explains.
If you are traveling in the backcountry, whether on skis or snow machines, and you do feel that you have to cross hazardous terrain, or you're going to ski a slope that you are suspect that may potentially avalanche, there's a couple things that you want to do to minimize your risk. One is only expose one person at a time to that slope. And so the rest of the people can stand in a safe place and watch that person move across the slope. If that person is caught in an avalanche, that leaves people available to find that person. If that person is caught, the rest of the people have to watch that person as the slide moves down the hill to find the last seen point or where that person is finally buried. That eliminates a lot of places that you're going to have to look. The big thing to consider is that finding that person alive is going to depend on the people in that party, not in going out and getting a helicopter to come in. So you have to find that person. The most efficient way to find that person is to use an avalanche transceiver. Now, an avalanche transceiver costs about $100 or $150. But again, I can't emphasize how important they are in finding victims fast. You have to know how to use it. It doesn't do you any good just to have one. So find someone Get out with that person. Hopefully that person is experienced, and practice with that transceiver. If the victim doesn't have a transceiver, then the next best thing is to use some sort of probe pole. Hopefully you have one on your snow machine, or you can use your ski pole as a probe, and knowing the last seen point, start probing the debris, and hopefully you'll hit that victim or the victim's sled, skis. Look for things left on the top of the hats, skis, goggles, parts of the snowmobile left on the debris, because it all points to where that victim may end up. Again, one person crosses the slope at a time. Watch that person. Look for the last seen point. Use an avalanche transceiver. Do everything in your power with all the people in your party to find that person. If you do decide that you have to go out for help, either it's gone 1 or 2 or 3 hours, you're trying to locate the victim, or people in your party are getting tired, you do have to send someone out. Contact the local sheriff's office or Forest Service department, and they can instigate organized rescue. But remember, the chances of finding that person alive depend on you and the people in your party.
If you're interested in learning more about avalanches, take the time to read more about them, or take an avalanche safety course. Also, check with the nearest Forest Service office to get information on avalanche conditions before your trip. Winter can be an exciting time to enjoy the national forests and other backcountry areas. Knowledge and common sense can make it a safer, more enjoyable experience.